Okay, so first off, I do like how the chapter immediately addressed how Izuku got back to the battlefield, which is thanks to the Air Force. And I had a feeling it was because of them, but more importantly, let's talk about what happened to Izuku after he arrived, which is upon seeing Bakugo and all the others on the ground, practically lifeless, his power erupts. His rage, his anger, regret, despair, all of it just causes his power to explode. And although we know at this point that Bakugo and all the others, which are going to survive, which I really don't know how Mirko's surviving, but whatever. I still do like how Izuku reacts to all this, because it's in this moment he realizes he could have stopped all this. He could have helped prevent these casualties from happening if he was just there. And again, despite us knowing Bakugo's alive from Izuku's perspective, I like how this is his greatest fear made manifest. This is the kind of thing he was hoping to prevent by leaving Yue and his friends, all of them, out of the conflict with All for One and Tsuragaki. And now, this is him having to face that, like in a certain degree, having to face that reality head on. With that said, I also like how it was ultimately Muriel to pull him back from the brink, because as cool as it would have been to have Ojiko or Ida be the one to do it, I think Muriel being the one to in order to like say to Izuku to calm down, you're a hero, we're heroes, we're here, we can still save everyone. Just having him there say all that, I think, is especially powerful, because he's the one who truly understands. For as much as he has a kinship with his friends and all that, Muriel in some ways is the only one who truly understands Izuku's like ideals. His moral core, his moral center, and just who he wants to be, who he is as a hero, and just who he wants to be seen as when it comes to being the world's greatest hero. And how he wants to be how he wants to be perceived as the world's greatest hero. Like Muriel, in a lot of ways, coming to Izuku's side, he's the only one who understands that, and again, saying they can still save everyone, they can still be the heroes they want to be. You haven't failed, Izuku. Like just having Muriel say all this, I think really just works. Now let's talk about Izuku's ultimate transformation in itself, like ultimate form, whatever you want to call it, because that's really what it. Let's be real. That's really what it is. Like all the quirks within All for One coming together as one to turn Izuku into the greatest and most powerful superhero. That's what's happened. Which I will say, I don't know if this was intentional, but it felt like Horikoshi to some degree was kind of riffing on the idea of those emotional fueled transformations that give the heroes their final form, by just showing that relying on one's emotions to tap into your power can actually destroy who you are and turn you into as much of a monster as the monsters you're hoping to defeat, before still kind of like switching up to embracing it, almost like saying, like, he was both riffing on it, but also he was kind of having his cake and eating it too by riffing on it, but I think also embracing it. And I think this was almost, I think actually more than riffing on it, this was almost like Horikoshi like kind of teaching people that pushing past your limits can destroy you in real life if you're not careful. I think that's what he was showing to us. But that aside, I gotta say, of all the final form power-ups, as power-ups that a main character goes through in shonen anime and manga, this one might be one of my favorites, for no other reason than just how slimmed down it is. Like, in all shonen manga I've read, the transformations themselves always have so much going on, to the point where it's a little hard to distinguish transformation from character at times, to the point where the character doesn't even feel recognizable. But here, despite obviously having all these powers at his disposal, there's still just as much of Izuku there, where we can still like tell it's him. But, like, and I guess basically what I'm saying here is, when it comes to shonen final forms, I always prefer the minimalist approach compared to just throwing from so much at the character design to the point where the character feels unrecognizable. Like that I feel is kind of my one nitpick when it comes to shonen anime that I don't think I'll ever get over, is that there will always be those like shonen final form transformations that always feel like the transformation is favored in favor of the character. And again, I feel this one kind of got it a little bit right compared to the others. With all that said, though, this chapter gave me that we are in the endgame vibes, in the sense where, well, I don't know how many chapters Horikoshi has left to publish. It definitely feels like we are in the final stretch of this arc now, and from here it's just a matter of how Horikoshi is going to just wrap it all up. Like, I'm imagining probably somewhere in the ballpark of 40 to 50 chapters left, depending on how he handles the aftermath of this war and all the other stuff leading into the final chapter as well. So, like for example, there's still a few fights he's kind of left dangling and doing to be addressed. So it's gonna depend on how he handles those as well. But assuming Horikoshi doesn't have them take place off screen, but I don't think he'd go that far, or at least I hope not. But like either way, it is becoming more likely, if not this year, then definitely early next year is when My Hero Academia is going to come to an end. Like this is definitely a chapter that really reinforces that. Yeah, My Hero Academia it is coming to an end for sure. Yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Analyst Crunchyroll. Be sure to notification bell, subscribe button, and just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight of me, signing off. Later, everyone.